No one's coming to your party. Grow up. That's what my mom posted in the family group chat. On my birthday. I read it twice. Replied once, understood. Then I canceled the $2,300 rent payment I'd been covering. The next day, I reclaimed the car and shut down every credit card in their name. Not out of spite. Because I was done. They didn't ask why. Didn't scream or fight. Just silence, the kind that sinks in when someone realizes it's really over. This wasn't a tantrum. It was closure. They assumed I'd do what I always did: sulk, then pay. But this time was different. This wasn't the first hit. It was the last. I wasn't a son to them. I was a service. An ATM with a heartbeat. I'm 28. Live in a modest Denver apartment. Work IT for a healthcare firm. It's stable, nothing flashy. And still, I paid their rent for 4 years. Because they said I owed them. Because I was stronger than Emma. Because I had it together. They called it temporary. It wasn't. Rent, groceries, vet bills, Wi-Fi, repairs. Even Emma's car. The same Emma who hasn't worked in years, but somehow always has vacation photos. Once, Dad told me, "She's not built for pressure. You are." They made sure of that. Last Thanksgiving, I surprised them. 5-hour drive. Groceries, wine, pie. Mom opened the door. "Oh, you came." Then shouted to Emma to hide the gifts. Because apparently, I wasn't part of the celebration. Josh, Emma's boyfriend, was staying in my old room. I got the couch. At dinner, Dad toasted, "To the man who pays the bills but can't hold a girlfriend." They laughed. I stayed quiet. Cleaned dishes. Paid for a plumbing issue. Business as usual. A week later, they went on a family trip to the mountains. I wasn't invited. Found out from a coworker. Saw the photo on Instagram. Matching beanies, hot cocoa. Emma's mug said, "Best daughter ever." They forgot to tell me they'd missed rent again. But of course, I paid. Then came the jokes. Dad posted my Amazon wishlist in the group chat: socks and shampoo. They mocked me for needing basic things. No one said happy birthday. So I started collecting. Screenshots, bank statements, messages, emails. Proof of the times they used my name, my credit score, my silence. Mom once used my identity for a store card. Said, "It's not a big deal." When I called her out, she snapped, "Don't threaten me, Mr. IT. You'd be nothing without this family." Emma told people I was on the spectrum, to make me easier to explain. And still, I paid. Still, I worked. Still, I smiled. But I was done playing the role. 2 weeks later, after the group chat insult, the forgotten rent, the mountain trip, Emma texted, "Mom says to come by, family dinner." I left her on read. Dad called. "Don't make this harder than it needs to be, we're trying to move forward." But every time they said move forward, they meant, forget what we did, keep paying. So I moved forward. Without them. This time, I said yes. But I didn't come alone. I showed up at their house, the one I helped repaint. The one with the fridge I paid for. Right on time. Duffel bag in hand. Backup drive in my pocket. Mom hugged me like nothing happened. Dad handed me a beer. Emma smirked like she'd already won. I sat. I listened. They spoke of healing. Of forgiveness. Of how I had overreacted by cutting them off. Then Mom said the line that cracked everything wide open. "You're still part of this family, but you've made mistakes too." I took a breath. Reached into my bag. Opened my laptop. A folder sat on the screen. Labeled, Truth. Dad rolled his eyes. "What's this, homework?" I clicked play. First clip, Mom screaming on a voicemail. "Grow up and pay your sister's tuition before she ends up like you." Second, Emma's voice. "He's always been weird, just let him pay, makes him feel useful." Then came the files. Screenshots, transfers, bills. Emma's stories posing in things I paid for, bragging like it was hers. I flipped the screen toward them. They leaned in. Then froze. I walked to the kitchen. Came back with a USB. Plugged it into their smart TV. Black screen. Then a loan application appeared. Dad's name, primary borrower. My name, cosigner, no permission, no signature. I looked at him. You used my social. You put me on the hook for your debt. He opened his mouth. I raised a hand. It's reported. Your accounts are frozen. You'll get the letter next week. Mom gasped. Emma laughed. You're so dramatic. What's next? You gonna sue us? I smiled. No. But he is. Ding dong. I walked to the door. Opened it. Jake. Emma's ex. The one she lied about. The one she almost destroyed. He stepped in. Black folder in hand. Sat across from Emma. You wanna tell them, or should I? Emma went pale. What are you doing here? He opened the folder. Inside, screenshots of fake messages she created. Photos of notes detailing how to emotionally break him before the breakup. Audio transcripts edited to sound like he was the one yelling. Mom started crying. Dad stared at the floor. Emma shot up. You're both insane. This is harassment. Jake didn't flinch. You're not the victim. You're the villain. And I'm done pretending. He stood and left. I followed him, paused at the door, and said the last thing I'll ever say in that house. You wanted me to play the good son, the quiet wallet. But now, I'm writing the script. Then I picked up my laptop, my drive, and walked out. Behind me, shouting. Mom yelling Emma's name. Dad demanding I fix it. Glass shattering. I didn't look back. Because when you finally detonate the truth, you don't stay to watch the ashes. The next morning, I uploaded everything. Not just clips. Not just screenshots. The whole archive. One post. Titled, When Family Treats You Like an ATM with a Heartbeat. Inside. Every rent payment. Every forged loan. Emma's edits and lies. The audio. The voicemails. Thanksgiving toast. Can't keep a girlfriend, but still keeps the lights on. No sob story. No tears. Just facts. And one final line. I'm not angry. I'm not sad. I'm just done pretending this is what family looks like. Then I hit post. Turned off my phone. By noon, it went viral. Not celebrity viral, but loud enough to burn. Thousands of shares. Hundreds of comments. From strangers, this happened to me. You're not alone. This level of evidence? King behavior. From mutuals, I always knew your sister was shady. This explains so much. I didn't respond. I let it breathe. By 3 p.m., my aunt, the one who heart reacted to Mom's birthday insult, posted, Family issues don't belong online. No likes. Except Emma. She posted a black square on Instagram. Caption, Betrayal hits hardest from those you once fed. I almost laughed. Then Dad went live on Facebook. Yes, live. In the same garage I once helped fix. I forgive him, he said. He's mentally fragile, he's being manipulated. Behind him? Beer cans. Then a comment popped up. From his old golf buddy, didn't you forge his signature once? Dad liked it. That was his mistake. Because I had a video. 3 years old. Dad on the couch, beer in hand, telling Emma. It's fine, I used his social. He won't notice. Even if he does, he owes us. I posted it in the comments. No caption. Just a date. Then I logged off again. But I wasn't done. I was just getting started. That week, I launched a YouTube channel. One video, When Helping Becomes Enabling. No names. Just me. Straight camera. Calm, direct. You can love people and still walk away. You can help and still be used. And when they show you what you mean to them, believe them. 400,000 views in 3 days. Then podcasts. Then interviews. Then a publisher. I didn't want fame. I wanted the truth. And apparently, so did everyone else. Then Mom tried one last move. She sent a photo. A mortgage letter. Default notice. As if that would pull me back in. The house was under review. Mom messaged, I hope you're proud of yourself, they might take her home. I didn't reply. Instead, I sent a screenshot, her name next to every transfer I'd made over the last 3 years. Over $84,000. Caption, you took it, not me. She left me on read. 3 hours later, I got a text from an unknown number. Emma. I hope you never have kids, you'd be a terrible father. I smiled. Not because it was funny, because it was pathetic. They were pulling every lever they knew: guilt, rage, manipulation, everything except accountability. And none of it worked. The best part? I moved in silence. No post, no announcement, no forwarding address. Downtown condo, 10th floor. Purchased through a trust. Fully paid off. New number, new name, new peace. They tried calling. They asked around. But I was gone. Not hiding. Finished. Not just with the drama, with the idea that I owed them anything. Not my money. Not my time. Not even a reply. A month later, I changed my number. Not out of fear, out of boredom. Bored of voicemails dripping in guilt. Of Emma's cryptic posts about narcissistic siblings. Of Dad's drunken emails that began with, "You don't know how hard it was for me," and ended with, "Let's profit off this mess." They weren't reaching out to apologize. They were trying to retake the story. But I'd already written it, published it, and buried it. They just didn't realize the funeral had passed. I didn't just disappear. I upgraded. My new place was everything the old life wasn't: tall ceilings, quiet neighbors, cold tile floors I could finally breathe on. No photos on the fridge. No group chats. No spare key just in case. I told no one where I lived. Not even my closest friends. Because this silence? It wasn't meant to be shared. It was earned. I furnished slowly. One chair, one mug, one lamp. No debt. No guilt. No permission. The first night, I stood barefoot in my kitchen, coffee in hand, lights off, and realized, no one here will raise their voice. No one will ask for a little help this month. No one will shame me for not doing more. Just silence. Beautiful, earned silence. I went all in on the business I'd been building in the shadows. Understood Consulting. Named after the one word I texted my mother on my birthday. I built the site in one night. Designed the logo. Bought the domain. Trademarked the name. Not to make a statement, to make sure I'd never need their permission to exist again. Now I help others walk out of the same cage I grew up in. I speak. I coach. I listen. But I stay private. Because my life isn't a show for them to tune into. It's not a redemption arc they get to hijack. It's a fortress with locked gates and motion sensors. And I sleep better than I ever have. 3 weeks after I moved, a manila envelope arrived at my P.O. box. Inside, a handwritten letter. Floral stationery, red ink, slanted cursive. You used to be our sweet boy. I don't know who this bitter man is. We made mistakes, but airing them, you humiliated us. You ruined us. Maybe one day you'll realize how hard it was for us. Maybe one day you'll grow up. It ended with, "I'm praying for you." I didn't rage. I didn't cry. I flipped the letter over. Wrote 3 words in Sharpie. "Keep your prayers." Then tossed it in the trash. 2 days later, Dad emailed. Subject line, idea. What if we went on DR? Phil, you tell your side, I tell mine. We make peace. Audiences love father-son reconciliations. Think about the reach. Attached was a photo. Me, 5 years old at Chuck E. Cheese, crying. Dad smiling with a beer. I stared at it for 10 minutes. Not as a memory. As a reminder. They didn't want peace. They wanted a platform. That night, I released a new video. No music. No effects. Just me. They keep asking if I'll come back, if I'll forgive. But peace doesn't mean pretending. It doesn't mean honoring people who fed you shame. It doesn't mean calling your abuser dad just because he had a hard childhood. Peace is the absence of chaos, of noise, of their names. I'm not your son anymore. I'm the consequence. It hit 2 million views in a week. One afternoon, walking out of my office, I saw a couple staring at the logo on the door. The woman looked at me. "Are you him from the story?" I nodded. She said, "Thank you, I didn't think people like you existed." That moment meant more than every birthday I ever begged them to remember. Because I didn't need their applause anymore. I became my own proof. It's been over a year. No contact. No regrets. They still post. Still hint. Still rewrite. I let them. Because you don't argue with ghosts. You just stop haunting yourself with their stories. Sometimes at night, I walk past my hallway mirror, catch a glimpse of myself. Older. Not bitter. Just unchained. I didn't escape a toxic family. I evolved past it. And there's no going back. The plaque in my office still hangs. We don't rebuild what broke you. We build what frees you. Below it, a second, smaller sign. Guess who's not turning 12 again? And every time I see it, I smile. Because this year, the party's mine. And no one uninvited gets in.